title of the podcast. Title or name? It's not title, is it really? What's the word I'm looking for to describe what we call the podcast?
I think that's called a title.
Title? It is a title.
Or
a name?
A name, yeah. Both.
Podcast name?
You were both correct with your first two answers.
Is CueLess a nod to the Steve's favourite movie? Mm-hmm. What does it mean to you guys? Do we want to kick off with call the intern?
Yeah.
Ask
Call
the
him.
intern. Call the intern. Come on, Ryan. Get it straight.
You wrote it.
I did write it. Anyway, we are calling our friend and dear. This time it's ringing. Can you hear it ringing?
I certainly can.
Yeah,
We didn't have the volume up last time.
Oh, that would have been a problem then.
Yeah,
And,
that's why
he did say he was on standby.
you're going to need to put your headphones on if you actually want to hear this, Deane.
And this is true.
Hello, mate.
G'day, mate. How are you?
Good.
Now, I have you on speaker in studio, connected to the Bluetooth. You have with you young Deane
Speaker.
Jones, Steve Dallywater, and me. Can you hear us all?
Right.
Can you hear us all right, Steve?
He might be.
I think you need to talk
Yeah.
more into that.
No, I think it might be his reception, mate. Because before when I was chatting to Jai, it worked sweet as. You got me there, Steve? He's going to be a bust. He's out. We might try him again later.
I heard something. Did you hang up on it? See? Ringing
Just
people
as
and hanging
you-
up will be funny.
I think it's good that we started with this because we
Yeah.
We can cut this shit out.
Is he going to
We'll
ring
see.
back?
He might ring me back, but I guess what I want to call him about is, we were talking about in the last episode how you say some species. We don't like to say something smart or dumb, right? Because we think everything is evolved or has evolved for a reason. But when it comes to dogs, I feel like everyone's got to have an opinion on this. And what is... here he is calling me now. Do we have you on better reception?
Yeah, I can hear you very clearly.
Oh, mate.
that's
All
what
right.
we want.
So, welcome, Mr. Steve Austin. We have you here live in studio with Deane Jones, Steve Dallywater, and myself. How are you, mate?
Mate, it's good. It sounds like the mafia of dog training.
Well, we're not.
That's
just,
what we've called the Don.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we've called.
Yeah, I think it's called the mafia of the dog. Do I kiss somebody's ring before I start to talk, or what?
Deane.
And I can I just add to that, gentlemen? Gentlemen, can I, before we go any further, it's the ring on the finger I'll be referring to.
Then I am out.
All right, so Steve, we're talking all things animal training, not just dogs today, but we are calling you for a topic that I know is dear to your heart. We were earlier on discussing species that are easy to train versus hard to train and what have limits. Therefore, I want to throw to you a hypothetical, hold nothing back, the 5 worst dog breeds to train by Steve Austin.
Dalmatian.
Number 1. Is that number 1?
No.
Or are you starting at 5?
We'll start at number. We'll go from probably.
Start at 3.
Go from probably. It really doesn't matter, really.
They're all
right.
shit.
They're all shit. But the Dalmatian has always been like a thorn in one side.
Yes.
The Dalmatian, because there's no reason for their existence. There's none. Well, why have one?
What if you like
There's
spots?
one.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, but nice coat.
Right.
Number 1. The second most difficult dog that I've ever come across is the Afghan hound.
Oh, yeah, good call.
Yeah, an Afghan hound, never has the brain capacity of that animal would be no bigger than a half a pea, I would say, right?
And do you think that's...
Now, I'm going to be very controversial now. Very controversial.
You haven't been
Another
since the-
difficult type of dog or breed of dog is owned by a certain type of dog owner, right?
Yep.
Now, they're the ones that put boots on their dogs to walk up and down the street, that put little
Jackets and
coats on their
them.
dogs
Yeah,
in the
when it's
middle
20
of
degrees.
summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those dogs are extremely difficult to breed to train as well.
So you're just saying any dog that fits that criteria, regardless of the breed, is just going to be a nightmare.
Useless.
Based on the owner?
Based on the owner, yeah.
Great.
So that we're going to put the capacity of the owner here in high regard. I was in Japan once, and they took me to a restaurant, and I thought it was a mother's club meeting. And I went inside, and this is the true of true stories. There were dogs in there being sat on people's laps with their full sailor suit on and the sailor cap, and they were being fed food by the spoon to the dinner.
I'm picturing, I don't know why, but I'm picturing like Bichon Frise and Pomeranians and stuff. Am I right, or are there some more obscure kind of dogs in there?
Well, look, I think really to really be honest with you, the dogs that have no sort of reason to be in existence are the ones that are most difficult to think. Yeah. Why would you own a dog? Now, look, please, this will bring the house down. Why would you own a dog that's been hit in the head with a tennis racket? Why would you?
You're not talking about the pugs now, are you, Steve?
Who, me? Yeah. But you got those dogs, and I'd go pug, then I'd go bulldog,
French bulldog,
and then I'd go the Frenchie. You know what I mean? And there be my five, because they're on it as soon as they're born. They're 90% below the par as soon as they start.
Yeah, but don't you think it's cute looking like you're going to need to hold their eyes in at any point, and that you can always just hear them coming?
Their eyeballs might fall out.
Oh, look, they smell too, don't they?
I think we're just getting mean.
They smell. Don't they smell? All that groove and
Are we still talking about the owners, or
no? We're talking about the dog at the moment. But and the other dog that I'll tell you, a dog that did surprise me on the breed, and it was a young girl. I thought it was a waste of time, but she actually went very well in agility, and it was with the Shar-Pei.
No, I actually,
right.
I wouldn't have believed you had I not have witnessed that firsthand. I was with you.
Yeah, so I will be standard to be corrected, but they would be my five dogs, gentlemen. I mean, in that sort of rough order. Take your pick. Yeah, put him in a hat and take your pick out. But the brachyphagia, what's the word called?
Brachycephalic.
Yeah, those dogs, they are just so difficult because they've got, seriously though, they've got that many problems to start with.
Yeah.
You can't work through them, so the sooner we get rid of that sort of...
style of breeding.
I think the better we'll be off for it. Absolutely.
If we're putting an intervention in place in terms of training program, the very first question we ask is there a medical issue? I mean, you're talking about the pure genetic
there you go.
dog.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And there you look at, does function dictate, the form, or does the form dictate the function? Yeah. Well, my belief is, and as you know, Ryan, my belief is function. If the dog can function in its area, well, then the form should follow what the function is. This is like the dingo and the wolf and many other dogs that we know of. The function of the animal is critical. So if it's working well, then how it looks.
A purpose, then how it's
and then how it looks is there it goes. It should follow. Yeah. But they're my five. They're my five.
We knew you wouldn't hold back, and you'd give us some lovely insight into your mind. I feel like you will be back again.
I can't wait. Yeah. I can't wait, guys. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you, mate. Bye.
Did not disappoint.
No.
I'm going to ring the bell on that one. All right.
We're going to continue talking about dogs.
Yes, I reckon. Jump up.
So I was speaking in the previous episode about the incredible dog Connor and his work in the field and how he can ignore everything that his heart tells him he should be chasing.
Do you know what I've noticed do ignore is his eyes from each other. They go either way.
They do. They don't work in unison.
Corrective surgery would be fine. But fortunately, he lives by his nose. And so the one exception to this rule for Connor is, and I see it across the board with all of our highly trained detection dogs, is every now and again they'll come across something that they just cannot help but roll in. So for Connor most recently, literally he had just found this incredible little patch of weeds somewhere where they shouldn't have been, and we'd celebrated that. Moments later, he is rolling in the disgusting, rotting corpse of a dead pig.
Yeah.
And so it got me a thinking, what is it about dogs? Why is it that they roll in disgusting smells? So there's a few kind of common theories about it. Do you want to take a punt at what, a common kind of one would be?
I think the common one that I have definitely heard is that they try and mask their odour with the odour of something from the environment, particularly, say, the odour of their prey species that they might be stalking, and that's like an evolutionary hangover from wolves and other, canid, ancient canids, that they would mask themselves in it, which I think
at a starting value, you go, that makes sense. But then I think there's been obviously some research done on it, and even at a base level, when you actually start to kind of break that down and you go, these are animals that they don't sneak up on their prey generally. They're gonna hit it hard and fast.
Sure. Yeah.
And so there's not a great benefit to trying to. I mean, it's a pungent smell that they're rolling in there as well, and they're not going to be using that to creep up on a hair or something.
Well,
like that.
and further to that, I guess disproving the thing that I was just advocating for. So we know how good the olfactory system is of basically every wild animal, rabbits included, hares included, and all the species that wouldn't typically associate with having a big nose on them, that if I was trying to sneak up on a rabbit or even a dog or a fox, by rolling in dog shit, I know that's not going to disguise my smell.
Yeah.
That's not how olfaction works. It's like it's not chemical cryptosis. We're not making ourselves disappear.
They go, oh, that dog smells like shit.
He smells like shit and like a dog. Sorry, digress.
And I think that's exactly right. It's one of those things where it's easy to kind of go, that's why they do it. And then when you start really thinking about it, you start to see the holes in it, and you start to see that. And so without going into deep science, not because I couldn't, just because I can't be bothered. The research in, captive wolf groups and things like that has kind of looked into this. They find that it's a really common thing that when one, often a lead animal will kind of instigate this, they'll roll in something. And it's very often something that's novel to the environment, predator scat, something like that, or, a particularly good smelling, stinky carcass or something like that.
I've seen that a lot with fish carcasses, like really rotten fish carcasses.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And they will come back to the group and others will sniff it, and, quite often they will go and investigate that as well. So the leading theory that I've been able to come across, which does actually stand to reason, is it's more of a form of communication. It's more saying, hey, here's a thing that I've found out here. Here's something that's in our environment that you might be interested in, whether it's, hey, a bear's entered the environment, or there's something really tasty out there, and it's a way of communicating back to the group.
That makes so much, honestly, because they're social obligate canines, right? So of course they're going to, even if they're living in a human household, they come across something novel in their environment, a little part of their brain's going to go, haven't seen a dead barramundi in Narrabeen before. I'm going to roll in that and take it back for the cat to sniff and go, he got to see a dead barramundi. I like it.
We're on.
Dogs and doo-doo.
You're up, Dino.
Why'd that animal attack?
Yes, when animals attack, round 2.
Okay, I'm going to try really hard not to nerd out because...
That's why we brought you here. Yeah,
some people may or may not know I like killer whales. So
that's why his hands are on his lap.
Been in and out of the news quite a bit over the last few years. Relatively small in the big grand scheme of the world, waterway in the Straits of Gibraltar. Killer whales have been sinking boats. Why are they doing this? What are they getting out of it?
How many years as well has this been going on for? It's not like, because it seems like a recent phenomenon, but it's been around for a while, right?
2020 was when the reports first started kind of rolling in. And we look today, like the most recent was recently.
Possibly recently,
Yeah.
So we're talking about 8 years post Blackfish. Is that part of it?
Yeah, since they wanted revenge. Yeah. So there's a few running theories. Difficult things, I have never witnessed it. So we know most of the footage we get is as it's happened or just as it's happening. We all know that with behaviour, there's a whole story that's happened prior to that. So we are only getting a snapshot. None of these people that are out there are behaviouralists that are having their yachts sunk. If I could afford a yacht, I would, and I'd be out there. But when we look into it, there's a few running theories. So the first one is that killer whales, when they will take down large mammals as prey, like literally blue whales, the largest they can, they will take out things like the tail or fins. They're going to immobilize that animal in order to take it out. Theory is they know that those rudders on the boat, which is the part that they normally go for first, causing the boat to go into a complete spin. They'll start ramming the boat. They'll pull bits off. They'll swim past and show the rudder that they just took off the boat to the boat and go, look what I got.
Awesome. I love that.
Yeah. So this is a running theory that perhaps they know that they can immobilize the boat. Upshot here is, as we all know, there are lots of different ecotypes of killer whales, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, as we all know.
And more have been discovered recently because for
There's
a long time
probably
it was like
about 10.
A, B, C, D originally, like the 4 types of killer whales, and now it's 10? Yeah.
Yeah, there's 10. If you didn't know, slight upshot, some killer whales only eat marine mammals, some killer whales only eat fish. The particular whales in this area are fish-eating killer whales.
So going up into the Mediterranean, right?
Correct, yeah. They'll spend parts of their year following down around Portugal. They go there for the salmon, basically.
Yep.
Therefore, they will not have this skill or this mentality of taking out
large mammal-like structures. Yeah.
No, it's unlikely that they would do that. Well, they don't do that. They don't eat mammals. So it wouldn't be a thing. Second one is that these animals have been hit by boats and then know to then go and take revenge on the boat.
Yeah.
Theory here is, yes, there are a number of individuals. So in this area, there's probably 5 distinct family groups of killer whales that live there.
Yeah.
A and B pod are the most common and the largest. A few of the other pods only number around 2 or 3 individuals.
Gotcha.
Seen quite rarely. The whales that are doing this are only a small number of the whales in the pod and are all aged around 10 to 15 years old, which is adolescence for a killer whale. So there is some individuals that have boat strike wounds on them.
Oh, right, yeah.
Which, as we know, across the globe, cetaceans will have run-ins with boats. Out of all of those species, I would say killer whales would be one of the least common.
Yeah.
Is it because one's been hit by a boat and now they all are jacked off by it and want to come and take them out? Odd term of jacked off. I don't know.
But is it also possible that they've got boat strike injuries because they're running into boats?
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think personally it would be the latter of the two.
Sure.
They're spending so much time around the back of a boat, they're likely to get smacked by a few and go, well, that wasn't a terribly good idea.
Yeah.
And out of the 25 to 35 whales that are known in the region and have been known for many, many, many generations to researchers, again, it is only a handful of individuals that are doing this from 2 pods. However, both of those pods they now know probably only a few generations back are related to each other. So they've kind of just...
Genetic relatedness there.
Yeah.
Do we have any idea on sexes?
Females and males.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But again, all of that middle-aged kind of...
Adolescent.
Well, sorry, not middle-aged, but between the ages of 10 to 15.
Yeah.
I think there's one older female who's been known to do it. But we also know with killer whales there is a huge amount of learning history amongst individuals. Generations of killer whales will teach specific hunting tactics just to that family group. So it could be a learnt behaviour, or it is probably definitely a learnt behaviour now with them. The other one is they're just having fun.
Yeah.
So a couple of those teenage whales smoked a whole bunch of seaweed and thought, let's go rip
Let's
the
go
rudder
rip
off
the
that
boat.
boat.
Of course not, like,
And
this
it's
is
fun.
more up my alley.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
They're being dickheads,
Yep.
and it's now learnt that, hey, I'm going to teach you how to do it because here's my rudder trophy that I got from it. Without having seen it from start to finish, obviously the little snippets we can see, I would be more likely to
lean
think
towards
that that's what they're doing.
And I think it's probably for the average punter. I think people don't realise how many mammals, in particular marine mammals and like chimps and stuff too, during adolescence are just jerks.
Yeah.
It's like totally their evolutionary tactic is to get into as many stupid scenarios as possible within reason, start low-level fights, get into interactions with vehicles like the seal in Hobart that just smashes up cars, and there's another one in Auckland that does it as not Auckland, somewhere further south, and that like this behaviour is common, right? That we get juvenile adolescent animals that just for years on end go, I'm just gonna just wreck shit. I mean, you know, when I was a kid, this is like southwest of Sydney, not much interesting to do. There was a shopping centre near us. We didn't have skate parks. We're nowhere near the ocean, nothing. And what we used to do for fun was we'd go to the shopping centre, which was a heavily Christian neighbourhood, always closed on the weekend. What's the Lord's Day? Was it Saturday or Sunday? They would close it?
Probably Sunday around there, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and
St Ives, it's more of a Saturday.
yeah, right. So Sunday in the southwest of Sydney, we used to just throw trolleys off the roof of the car park. Like that was our idea of fun. I can make till right now. I still get this warm and fuzzy feeling about throwing a trolley off the roof, you know. But as a young like teen boy or pre-teen kid, I had to go with my brother and his mates and stuff and go throw a trolley off the roof. Like, and like I tell my wife about this. She's like, "Why would you do that?" I'm like, it was so fun. Like that's.
I bet your son gets it.
Oh man,
Yeah.
no, I haven't told him yet, but I will. But yeah, just doing dumb stuff as a young mammal. It's and I've heard theories around that these events, like breaking things apart, have evolved as a mechanism for like teaching your brain how to think in a hyper aroused state, or rehearsing mating rituals or display rituals or fighting routines and stuff. And so whilst this may seem it's like, oh, young boys are just jerks or whatever it may be, young chimps or young fur seals, young elephants, exactly, that it serves a purpose of teaching you how to think in that aroused state and teaching you how to utilize your body in ways that you haven't necessarily thought. It's not just you go, oh, what's the exact purpose of it right now? So it doesn't need to have a purpose right now. You're rehearsing behavior that might come in handy in 20 years time.
There's now also, because they've managed to keep this behavior up and have sunk enough boats to...
How many boats did we read up as well recently?
Well, it's probably about 500 incidences. I don't know if they've sunk them all.
But they've recorded 500 recorded that. That's red hot. I'm pretty proud.
I wonder like how many at the start until people started to believe them. They're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Killer whale sunk my boat.
Yeah.
Or never mind. So now that we're getting enough data on it, where at the beginning it kind of seemed like any boat that came across had some kind of interaction, they now tend to have particular styles of boat and particular styles of rudder and particular styles of engine that they prefer.
Yeah.
And now they've kind of gone through their testing phase and went, oh, no, that one, don't worry about that one. We're not going to get that one. This one, however, this fits into what I can break and what I can win on. So it's probably worth a deep dive, and no doubt my autistic brain will do it at some point, is to looking at the make and model of every one of those boats, how they broke. I'm going to do that this afternoon.
Sit down there and nerd out on that.
Yeah.
Is there a suggestion that animals are aging out of this? Do we know that?
No, I don't think so. I think it's still quite young. And I do know one of the individuals is now has died recently. Still quite young. It wouldn't be an aged related ailment. I think in the last census that particular animal is no longer there. And as we know with this particular species, if it's not with its family group, over 5 or 6 interactions with that group, then it's not likely to be around anymore. They don't really swap and change, or at least killer whales in this area don't.
When we were talking about killer whales a while back,
When?
Yeah, which time? we were speaking about those ones off the coast of South America. I think like the Peruvian ones, right?
Punta Norte, the northern point of Patagonia.
Of course, you know that.
If you want the coordinates, I can give them to you.
Yeah. So
If you could just name each individual in that group, please.
I can.
So you were explaining how they will rehearse the routine of catching and killing seals off the beach at other beaches. Before
They have their practice beach.
Yeah, I mean, I love. I mean, that like further adds so much credence to this idea of they're just they're playing and rehearsing, right? So
And
go on.
they understand behaviour.
Yeah.
They're not practicing it on the beach where they could disturb the animals they want to actually hunt on.
Yeah. So, in this particular area, again, there's 3 or 4 family groups that have been there. Research started there back in the 70s. They were already there. There's one particular female who was there in the 70s and she is still there to this day.
Awesome.
She'd be well in her 60s now. And her grandkids, great-grandkids are animals that are all practicing this beaching behaviour. So if you've lived under a rock somewhere and have never seen footage of a killer whale sliding up onto a beach and nabbing a seal, all of that footage is taken in one area. It's called Punta Norte, which is the most northern point of Peninsula Valdez in Patagonia. And the same family groups of whales have been doing it there. The reason why this particular area is the hunt zone is it's actually the substrate. So the rocks, I guess, a really small circular thing and actually kind of work like ball bearings.
I was just about to say it probably does like helps them roll in and out.
Yeah. So there's a few things. It's the steepness of the beach. It's the tide, the waves, everything plays a role in making those hunts successful.
Yeah.
Other than the whales knowing exactly where, when, how to do it. Really cool with them is they practice swimming they swim sideways in those areas so that their dorsal fins don't break the surface of the water. And they do that.
Sick.
And they teach the kids that from young. So they learn that if you are in here and you're not wanting to be seen, you can
do Top Gun.
Yeah, exactly. Do your Top Gun.
Yeah.
They will also deploy decoy animals. So they'll have animals being very obvious over here. And then that teaches the seals, oh, great, they're over there. We're going to stay over here. We've got eyes on them. We know where they are. Bang, Marga slid out of the water and grabbed me and thrown me into the ocean. But yes, they then also know particular areas away from there that have similar setups where they can start teaching young animals how to do this. And even within their family groups, there are animals that have been there born into that family group that are 20, 30 years old that have never done it and they will not learn it. They will reap the benefits. They will get pups taken out to them. But even within those family groups, I said there's probably about 20, 25 animals. There's probably only a handful that actually beach themselves.
And there was things that you were saying as well. They have animal spotting for them and stuff, and maybe even grooving little channels in the substrate so that they've got a deeper launch point, almost like a slipway for a boat, right? It's incredibly complex. It's not just opportunistic. I'm going to go and try and grab that seal. Oh shit, I'm on the beach. Like it's very, very calculated.
And there's probably stuff that they're watching that they know about the water, the current, that the stuff that we don't even look. You know, there's so many other overt behaviors probably to them from their vantage point. That's their telltale sign. And, we might go, oh, it's the wave. And they're like, no, it's the current, or it's this, or this is happening. And, older females will, the very experienced hunters, they'll go park themselves halfway up the beach as the young ones are practicing. So if they get stuck, they kind of can shuffle their way back and bunt them back in. And with this behavior, which again has been happening for before we started recording it. There's still only a very small handful of cases that an animal has been stranded. And
I was going to ask that,
Yeah, so it actually happened not in the hunting area, but it happened a few years ago. One of the subadult females was found beached and had died. And then back in the early 90s, there was another female. There's another area in I can't remember where it is. Oh, the Crozet Islands. Hectic to get there. It's not livable, and there's 2 research stations on the Crozets. There's another population of killer whales there who have learnt to slide up to grab penguins. So there's king penguins, same deal. One of those females back in the early 90s got stranded, but she made it back out into the water.
Wow.
Other than that, there's, very small records of any of those whales ever getting caught.
It's amazing that those kind of hunting strategies, I feel like I know a little bit about leopard seals. And when I was down on the Antarctic Peninsula in a little IRB boat, we had this big female hanging around us.
Leopard seal?
Leopard seal, yeah. And good one. Went over my head like a giraffe initially. And then, anyway, she somehow nailed a penguin and just appeared back at the boat showing us the penguin, and which again, that gets me down this whole thing about parading behaviour. Or you're thinking about our mate from the coffee shop. Anyway, let's talk about that. And how she would, and almost the skewers would have some kind of communication going on between the birds in the sky, the penguins from the rookery, and they knew the juvies that were coming down to the water. And there was this three-way kind of thing where the skewers were watching the penguins, the leopards were watching the skewers were watching the leopard, knowing it was all about to kick off. And then the leopard seal would go, righto, it's go time, and never target the mature penguins that were leaving. And she would just swim over, cool as a cucumber. We would have spent 2-3 hours watching it. She got at least 6 or 7 kills right in front of us, and just go over the edge of the ice shelf and wait. And then a young penguin who's never swum before would just jump off the ice shelf, wham, she'd grab it, and then sure as shit, come back to the boat and go, check this out, guys, just got me a little snack. She'd rip it, take out the bits that she wanted, and then the skewers would then come in, they'd take off the packs, and there was this like crazy, symbiosis, symbiotic relationship going on between them. But obviously, we can only hypothesize in that setting exactly what's happening, but I could pick on, like, there's something between these birds, that leopard seal, and the way they're hunting chinstrap penguins. It's pretty epic.
So that's when my brain goes, what are you saying? How are you communicating this? Like, that's that stuff.
And the parade too. I mean, I've had dollies do it to me. Like, when I've been out in the water with my son, a dolphin will come up and parade a mullet to us, and had heaps of seals do it in the wild and in zoos and stuff as well. And you go, and obviously killer whales doing things on salmon hats and octopus hats and stuff. You go, why are you doing that? It's amazing.
You can kind of understand it in a social species.
Yeah.
Like a dolphin, similar to what we were talking about with dogs, where you go, hey, here's a thing I found. Yeah. Maybe let's go get some. But it doesn't apply so much to a leopard seal.
To coming up to a human on a boat and going, look at my penguin I just killed. And someone said to me, why is she doing that, mate? Because she can. That's kind of the only thing.
Because she's just grabbed 6 of them, and I'm not telling her she can't.
Yeah, so epic. Should we wrap that?
Yeah.
Love it, Deane. Thank you.
We can do more. We can do some more. There's a whole other population of killer whales I haven't told you about yet.
What do you think about Keiko?
Keiko.
Look
at his eyes.
Later.
Now, before we go into our next topic, I got a message here from Vicky Austin, Steve's wife, which I believe is going to have some dog breed names. And here we go. Basenji. Scottish, no explanation. Scottish Terrier, Afghan as well. Bedlington Terrier, that's a very funny looking dog. And then I was almost going to swear then she said English Springer Spaniel.
It's a divided household, that one.
Yeah, with a kiss on the end of it. Like, that makes it any better, Vicky. Wicked. All right. This is like a bit of a roundtable discussion, which I think a lot of the zookeepers, dog trainers, aquarists, whatnot, should lean forward and listen to this one, hey? Because we're talking about the reinforcement delivery, right? Not just what you're giving your animal, like, which I'm a massive fan for. Michelle Shaw, the zoo nutritionist, used to come up with ways to get your animal to tell you what it wants to eat. Like, number one, do that, right? People say to me, I'm feeding the octopus shrimp because octopus loves shrimp. Like, have you tested that? Like, Michelle's got this protocol around how you test that. Great. Test what it wants. But now, not only what it wants, but how you deliver that food, that treat, that ball, that tug toy, how you deliver it, and how much that can change the currency big time. Over to you, big dog.
This probably comes up for us working animals. There's so many ways we need to be mindful of this. Working animals at a distance, for me, is a big one. When we're looking at how we can reinforce them, we can have a look at, for instance, the elephants that we work. going to reinforce them at a distance and throwing a piece of sweet potato across a paddock to them and it lands in sand, and you look on that elephant's face like, thank you so much for putting my food in a pile of sand.
Yeah.
They will take it themselves and then watch you as they clean it. And I just go,
super passive aggressive.
yeah, if they could be passive aggressive, they not normally, they just headbutt you, but if they could be passive aggressive and for good reason, you know, if I really thought, did I just make that reinforcing for them, or did I just ruin that?
Yeah, become a potential aversive event, right?
Yeah, or whether we load reinforcers or then we devalue them as well. So if you think of training a macaw and you have a peanut for that macaw, if you heat that peanut up, you're likely to load that reinforcer. That's going to be a really nice sensation.
Yep.
If you give that reinforcement cold, frozen, you know, you're thinking you're being enriching, that sensation on that bird's beak is going to be absolutely not.
Yeah.
And we do that all the time when we go, oh, this is my enrichment. I've given the chimp his lunch frozen in an ice block. If you froze my lunch, I would crack you over the head with it. Don't.
For sure.
You know, so I think we need to be really mindful of how we reinforce, what reinforcers we're using. And we touched on it earlier with even looking at slowing animals down, how you're delivering that reinforcement. If you want a really high aroused state, great.
Deliver it fast.
Hang it across the room. Or, you know, your story about even using it as a motivator with, what was it, Marley in the show?
In the shows, yeah. If I was doing a SEAL show with him and I wanted to, you know, sharpen him up a little bit, I would peg the fish at him at 1,000,000 miles an hour so it would almost miss his head. So he would have to launch and nail it, and I would get a sharper response. And even
he'd love it though.
Yeah, you could see his performance would go through the roof. It was the same reinforcement that I could hand deliver to him or just lob.
Snooze fest.
Arc, you know, used to be when I was originally trained, like you have to arc the fish. You got to throw the fish in an arc to the animal every single time. Like, well, what if I peg it at him as hard as I can, like a soft little squid? Unreal. But I even watched a dude in Melbourne who was training some reef sharks, and same reinforcer, same location. We're trying to teach the same behavior, just basic stationing within an area in a complex tank. And this dude would always have, in my observations anyway, he would have a higher success rate of getting the sharks to stay at his station. And he would just like put the fish in the water on a pole with a little bungee cord, and then as they would approach, he'd just do like a little float pole kind of exercise. Just like as they're approaching, he'd just move it away just enough where the animal's like, oh, now that looks a little bit more like prey, and then they nab it. And then I've seen people do, obviously stationary is like, yeah, they'll eat it, but they won't stay there for that long, or they won't eat as much, or suddenly like they're always fussy for Sharon because Sharon's just holding the fish still, and the sharks
stinks, but anyway.
Yeah. And then, but then I've seen the other end of the spectrum where someone else who's watched the dude who's killing it then go, oh, I'm going to do it, and like flicking it, wow, like real sexy. And then the animal, they either whip into an over-aroused state, and then they redirect onto other animals or each other.
Or just go, that's too
much. Or they just go, wait. And I mean, we see it with tug-of-war. We're talking about this too, when people want to play tug-of-war with your dog. And it makes me kind of feel bad for the dog, and almost my skin crawl a little bit when people are like, oh, he doesn't like tug, and they're going, yes, and like forcing it in the dog's face and like shaking it around too much and not waiting for the dog to properly grab a hold of it before they apply back pressure. So it's like, yeah, my dog's not toy motivated, and it's like,
he is. It's not how you play.
Yeah, the way that you want to play. What are the stupid noises we make when we throw the balls too, hey?
Oh, yeah, I don't even realise I'm doing it. Yeah. It's all like, pew, pew.
When we throw a ball for a dog, we don't just go, yes, and throw the ball.
I don't even realise when I'm singing Transformers.
Yeah, that's right.
And it varies so much dog to dog, situation to situation, because some dogs, if I'm reinforcing them, I'm going to hurl that ball as far as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And they're just going to get their jollies out of, I've been doing this close search pattern or this tight behaviour, and now I actually get to run, and I get to get the ball from all the way over there, and I'll take my kind of paradey trip back here with it, and that's part of the excitement for them. Some dogs, you'll hurl it that far and they'll be like, oh, jeepers, I'm right here.
Yeah, why didn't you just
I've
bounce
already
it
worked hard.
Yeah, why didn't you just bounce it under my nose? It's again, what are we going to say? What's the war cry?
Know your animal.
Bang on.
Your animal.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think you've got your classic little exercise you like to do for pet dogs, where you'll put out a couple of different food types and a toy, and a tug toy and a ball, and do that lineup. And I think if we were to run it on one of our experienced dogs, Winnie or Rafa, they already have context for some of those toys.
sure,
And so they're going to go, well.
You're almost relying on it, really,
Yeah,
aren't you?
absolutely. Yeah. Whereas so many of them, so many more naive animals, they're going to go, well, that ball is stationary, so it's nothing to me. And that tug toy is also stationary, so it's nothing to me. But, I like that meal and I'll eat that meal. And that doesn't give you a true idea as to what those preferences are. But, yeah, like you say, suddenly if that ball's bouncing a little bit or that tug toy's, oh, no, this is my tug toy. It's just out of reach. You can't have this tug toy.
Yeah.
All of a sudden those preferences are going to change.
Well, and you just, by saying that, you reminded me how so many, think about dogs or think about other species, if their primary mode of feeding or getting sustenance is through catching moving targets, then placing something still for them is going to be, like, you're really working against their natural instincts, right? And I know there was a dude I was working with in New Zealand who was working with some 7-gill sharks, and essentially they won't really consume food. They're basically, the type of shark that will go to the bottom of the ocean and rip off things off dead whales and whatnot. And so they're eating carcasses. They're like, Tasmanian devils for the sea sort of thing. And he was saying they basically will consume next to nothing if they don't have a game of tug war with the food. And so, like, it's so natural for them to grab it and freaking spin and crocodile roll and all that sort of stuff before they actually try and consume it. And I think so often, again, people in zoos or people with dogs or birds at home, whatever, they present, they should love this. Like, yes, but the presentation is so unnatural for that animal. Like, some birds, you give them this big, like, giant feeder of solid cubes, and it's like, you could get that same millet or same small seed and it's like bouncing off a grass, and then suddenly there are budgies all over. It's like, yeah, because that's so much more natural than just like this hard, like, paddle pop stick of seeds for them. Yeah.
I'll often find as well, like, if we're doing a session with odour in tubes, and so it's a fairly sterile environment in a shed or something like that, and particularly with some young animals, sometimes if you were to get a ball, which might be their highest level of reinforcement involved in that revs them up a bit too much.
Yeah.
So, you
lose that clarity.
Throw that and, you either get one good hit and then they're not able to settle down again, and so you might go to food in that environment. But again, if you're just kind of handing them food, they get a little bit sus on it. It's like, well, I'm just starting to get this game going here, and now maybe you want to put the lead back on me or something like that. And so, yeah, you can find that happy middle ground by bouncing it across the floor, getting them a bit excited, often with recalls as well.
Yeah.
Or we've mentioned before around crating and things like that. If you're trying to deliver the reinforcement at that exact point where you've kind of pushed them for that behaviour.
Yeah, you're saying, I want you to go into the crate, which is kind of a scary zone. You've gotten in the crate. Now I'm going to give you the food. Where do you give it to them, Steve?
I'm going to toss it away from them, the crate, so that they get that kind of double reinforcement.
Negative reinforcement away from the crate, yeah.
Absolutely. And the same thing goes for a young puppy. We've had this a bit lately with some of the gun dogs that we've been training, where they are getting really into their learning and their excitement, their retrievals, but the idea of coming all the way to your hand, to them, they're starting to associate that with the end of fun. And so when we're practicing that recall, that final little step of, here's the treaty here, often means that they're kind of putting the brakes on and backing off. So if you can get them to come in to that sweet spot and go, yes, well done, and you're tossing the treat over there, it both sets them up for another recall and helps them to kind of build on that. And then the vice versa as well is, quite often those same dogs, once they're out in the field, and particularly if you have used a ball reinforcement, you'll then go, here's one where you can get a treat. And they'll look at you like, what am I going to do with that?
Why would I have a treat out here? That's completely out of context. Yeah, so I think that the message is, hey, it's like...
Just be conscious of it.
Yeah, how you deliver it can really sometimes supersede what the actual intrinsic value of that reward is.
And make sure you know what is reinforcing to that animal. You know, you see it all the time with someone going to use tactile, and you can see that animal kind of going,
leaning.
no,
Like,
thank you.
Man. And that's one of those things. It's actually really easy to observe from afar. But having been once upon a time a naive trainer and then gone back and watched my own videos, or naive to a particular species, and then I'll go back and watch the videos from afar and go, oh, that really didn't like what I was doing to it. Like you need someone else to tell you, or you need to be filming and watching that stuff. Hey?
I think we're all big advocates for that. It's so easy to get to that little bit of success when you go, oh, I'm now beyond needing anyone to give me feedback or watch my sessions
I still try and
plan your sessions, get whoever you possibly can to watch them, be open to their feedback, and like you say, film yourself so you can watch it back either to see what they're seeing or for your own review.
I still film my sessions to this day, even if you set it up against the wall or have someone do it. Right. What I have found though, training trainers, is getting a junior trainer to watch my session and film it. There are so many things that I do that I don't realize I do and I don't teach people. And they go, why do you do that? Yeah. And I go, oh, this. And it's like, it doesn't occur to me that doesn't occur to them. So I found it an amazing tool to use to train people.
Yeah. On that reinforcement delivery, which I'm not going to go on any further, but we should talk today or another episode perhaps about play and some of the rules that we've all created with different species over the year around how you safely use play, because that is a reinforcement delivery topic, but something that if you don't do it well, you can die. And
tires.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. And or resource guarding, but done well, wow, how powerful.
Oh, absolutely.
I won't go on.
You will.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm often asked, and it's funny, I hear people say this. This is one of those sentences I've noticed now where people trying to advertise on social media, they go, people often ask me, Ryan, how do you get your hair to look so beautiful? I'm like, no one asks you, how does your hair look so beautiful? But anyway, this is something people do ask me. When they find out what I do for a living, people say, well, you must train your kids pretty well. And I go, no, not really, because they're humans and we speak the same language. And then I think...
the whole Watson and the Albert kid. Yeah, no, I've read them. No.
After what happened to Watson's children, no, thank you. But then I have reflected, and I definitely did train my son to love the ocean and to specifically love surfing. And like this could be something that he's telling his psychologist in 10 years, maybe himself.
Right, and it's not going to be 10 years. It'll be sooner.
He made me believe it was all me.
The kid loves it. And for sure, I'm part to blame. I mean, there's emotional contagion. I love surfing. I love the ocean. It's the one place I feel most happy is definitely in the water. So there's obviously that my son's feeding off. But I really think back to those early surfs that we did, and I fully used Premack's principle. I trained my kid, I didn't write a training plan or anything psycho.
Didn't have a trainer's pouch.
I didn't have a pouch on, but these are the things. So I'm just thinking, I'm using this as a public service announcement. Please don't misuse this information. But because I have a lot of mates who love surfing whose kids don't. Because there's a lot of hurdles, particularly in different parts of Australia. It's cold and whatnot, and we've got a lot of sharks around at the moment. But things that I did with Lennox is I'd take him out surfing on a day when nothing else fun was happening. So it's like, okay, the period of boredom, and we don't have a lot of other fun stuff going on. Hey, let's go for a surf. Great, all right? Automatically, we're going to go do something fun. Always take him out in suitable environments, nothing too big, nothing too heavy. I knew when he was young that he probably preferred to just swim. So we'd start with surfing. Then once he got a good wave, finish on a high, back the board away. Now let's just swim. So then we'd follow up with a swim, which is like a Premack, a more probable behaviour will reinforce a less probable behaviour. And then, then we might go and sit on the beach and eat some hot chippies with, tomato sauce or something like that.
Build a sandcastle.
Yeah, build a sandcastle and go home. And still to this day, he'll like yesterday, hour and a half surf, and then afterwards we'll go for a body bash, Dad. Just get that little swim into his system. It's funny that now though he in his head he's like, we always go for a quick swim, body surf after the surf session. He surfed for an hour. The surf is the reinforcer, but he's just got in his behavioural sequence that we always just go for a quick body bash in the sand, get bloody covered in sand before we get back in Dad's car and go home. I guess it's funny that as a trainer you think, no, I would never train my kids. But I very, very clearly did. And I don't think it was that deliberate, but, looking back on it now and how much he froths on it, I would say I probably did a pretty good job.
I think as a trainer, it's impossible not to think about those things when it's something you care about.
Yeah. But so many people butcher it, I reckon. Like as soon as you care about something, kids sense you reek that desperation. I really want my kid to love golf. I don't. I told Deane yesterday I played one game of golf and Jen beat me. It was on our honeymoon. I think kids can sense that desperation sometimes, so maybe don't want it too much. Animals always know when you're trying to rush or when you want something too quick. It's
nothing makes a sea lion slam its flippers on harder than you being in a rush.
Oh, man.
And they can tell. I mean, lots of animals can, but I reckon every sea lion that I ever had to rush was like, I'm sorry, are you rushing me?
Oh, I'm going to stop right between these two gates now. I need to go. I have so many memories of like needing to go to the toilet so bad and me like rushing a seal back home, and then the animals be like,
You realise there's this trail of fish.
Yeah, I just realised I just have to lay down and do nothing now for 20 minutes in between a public area and an area where you can't leave me.
I'm finding as an adult that whole listening to that part of your body is really important. I went to Bunnings the other day.
Yeah.
And I forgot that I don't often go to Bunnings. I was at work, had to go pick up some stuff for work, that the aisles then start from a different number. I thought I had time. Then I realised it was really far away. Still got it, raced up to the bathroom, put everything down. Long story short, I wet my pants at Bunnings. I was only 37. I was only 37 at the time, and had to wash my pants in a sink at Bunnings.
I don't know what to unpack there.
Now, you warned there might be a Bunnings story coming up.
Yeah.
Am I right in thinking you were in your work uniform for this?
Maybe. There was parts of it I was out of it to wash in the sink.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, but important thing, listen
to
know your
body.
animal.
Know
Listen to your body.
That's the important thing.
We can really see the clear link between that story there. You did make me think then when you were saying that though, we were going to talk about...
Have you wet your pants recently?
No, not wetting my pants.
Anyone? Anyone else?
Something to do with Bunnings. It's left my brain now, but I know there is something to do with aversive stimulus and that. There was something that you made me say. It's going to come back to me. I'll get back to you on that one.
Great.
Yeah.
Let's revisit that story again.
Are we going to wrap that one up, Steve? Or do you have something to add to that?
I don't have anything to add to Deane wetting his pants.
you can ring Pavlov's bell then. Thank you.
Are we coming back round to me? Because I got my bush poetry on for you guys.
Let's do it.
This does relate to a topic.
What's another what's the old school word for someone doing a poem? Like, is it like limerick? But there's a cooler one, isn't there?
I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't know if poetry and cool ever went together.
Have you seen that slam poetry scene from the movie that Jonah Hill's in with Channing Tatum?
Yes.
21 Jump Street.
Yes.
You know what I'm doing?
Yes. Yeah.
He does that thing. He's like, loud noises.
Yeah. Please have it like that, Steve. Does it rhyme?
Of course.
Great, because my theory is it's not a poem if it doesn't rhyme.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. This is, yep. You hit me once, I bit you back. You gave a kick, I gave a slap. You smashed a flipper on my head, then I dived deep to the seabed. We play these games, we act the fool. The whole wide ocean's our play pool. I'm building muscle, bulking up. I won't long be a fluffy pup. When we've grown and found our might, we'll claim some ground and truly fight. We've finished youthful masturbating. It's breeding season. Now we're mating. I am fur seal. I am male. This is our long repeated tale of years spent between birth and breeding, sleeping, fighting, and bog feeding.
Yes, love it. Now, to unpack that, there's a bit to unpack there.
I've got a question.
It relates to... We're talking about
the orcas.
The orcas and the young fur seals and that they are just jerks for years, but also that homosexual behaviour in fur seals is like a given for what would you even call it?
They're just one more flipper job away from living on Oxford Street. That's how gay fur seals are.
Well, they, I mean, this isn't a gay reference, but that was one of the first species that I saw wank was a fur seal.
One of the first.
I think it was. We had
Other than a human.
we were a rehab seal that was bitten by a shark and underweight, and then he got bulked up, and then he found this sweet spot on the edge of the pool where he just like wedged his member between his flipper and the edge of the pool, and then it's like he knew out of a chute where he couldn't. We didn't let him see people. The chute would come out and deliver his food. He'd eat all his food. He's like, "Well, food's arrived. I'm feeling better now. Just gonna stroke the salmon on the side of the pool there."
He doesn't eat salmon.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is a perfect, speaking from experience, I guess, it is a perfect indicator that you are feeling better when you have been unwell.
That you can get back on the hobby horse.
Oh, that needs to be a whole. I want to delve into hobby horsing.
Hobby horse racing. Yeah.
on the welfare of those poor animals.
Yeah. All right. Well done, Steve. That's it. The title of the podcast. Title, right? Title or name? It's not title, is it really? What's the word I'm looking for to describe what we call the podcast?
I think that's called a title.
Title? It is a title.
Or
a name?
A name. Yeah, both.
Podcast name?
You were both correct with your first two answers.
Is CueLess a nod to the Steve's favourite movie? What does it mean to you guys?
Wordplay.
Yeah, apart from the
It's just
obvious.
a bit punny.
Yeah, but unpack.
Other than the fact that we thought it would be hilarious to dress up in gear to replicate the cover of the CueLess. What is it? What's the real
Clueless.
Clueless?
Yeah.
It's already messed with my head. I think it used to be for me when I was early on. It was one of the things that I was pulled up on the most as a new trainer. Again, you know, for the host of reasons, I'm sure we've all been there. Your triple pump target. Come here.
Toot, 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 toot.
Yeah. The no reason, just target bridge. And the unknown art or the not putting enough importance on training your animal to just chill and be with me.
Nothing. Yeah.
Doing nothing is a behavior, reinforce it, and it's a super important behavior when you're working animals in free contact like sea lions and dolphins, or hey, being here with me is exactly what I want you to do.
Yeah.
But then never telling the animal that that's the case.
That's what you need to do.
Or you get to a point where you've been with your animal for 3 seconds and done nothing, and your animal's like, I'm going through the repertoire.
Yeah.
Right now. You must want something. That's a telltale sign that you probably haven't put enough emphasis on cueing less.
Yeah. I think it's something I often say to new detection dog handlers that have had a lot of pet dogs. They'll come into the room with the dog and they're like, stop talking. Like, and sit down, good boy, and come here. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, stop.
Check this, check
Stop
this,
talking.
check this.
Yeah. Here, that, up, down. I'm like, cue less, say less. Just be with the animal, let the animal be itself. And then when you do want to say something, hey, check this bag on the guy that smells like pot, the dog's more likely to listen to you because you haven't been frigging jabbering away the whole time.
No longer drowned you out.
Yeah.
I think as well our catch cry of know your animal, cue less, just observe more.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, I
spend
like
more
that.
time watching them, seeing what
Cue
they're
less,
into.
observe more. That's a good one, Steve.
If only they had that at the beginning of the movie.